Welcome to qualifying for this weekend's French Grand Prix. The teams are making their last-minute adjustments before the lights go green and the fight for pole position gets underway. And I'm here, of course, with Anthony Davidson on what has turned out to be a very pleasant day indeed. No weather to interfere, no problems on the track, so absolutely no room for error.
That's right, Crofty. It's looking good out there at the moment. Each team will have their own game plan for this session, and of course, once the cars leave the garage, they'll be under parc fermé conditions, so any last-minute adjustments need to be done right here and now. Beyond that, it's all up to the driver. Who can keep their tyres in the right temperature? Who can hit their apexes? No race fuel on board these days, of course. These are the fastest cars we've had in a long, long time, and it's right here in qualifying where they're at their absolute peak. Let's get started.
The fastest lap so far. Well done.
And with qualifying complete, let's review our top three today. Red, Bottas and Lewis Hamilton. With qualifying wrapped up, we now have our grid lineup for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race.
Good day today. Let's have your take on it. Are you happy with where you'll be on the grid tomorrow? You didn't practice much this weekend. Are you saving your car for the race? Great. Well, that's everything.
I think we can call that a successful qualifying. We should be in with a good chance in the race.
What do you think of this one?
Welcome to Le Castellet as we return from across the Atlantic for the 2019 French Grand Prix. Reintroduced to the Formula One calendar just last year after an absence of almost 3 decades. The circuit, Paul Ricard, where racing legends such as Alain Prost gave us some Turn 1 excitement before Valtteri Bottas and Sebastian Vettel and a commanding victory from Lewis Hamilton gave us a brilliant race last year. What, I wonder, will it have in store for us this season? Mastering a lap of Paul Ricard means getting to know 15 corners, 6 left and 9 right, for an overall lap distance of 3.6 miles. The two halves of the long Mistral Straight are separated by a heavy braking zone into a potential overtaking hotspot at the Chicane Nord. And watch out for the drivers running onto the distinctive coloured stripes, which are low in grip and highly abrasive. And it's an absolute pleasure to be joined once again by Anthony Davidson. Why don't we talk about Ferrari? They haven't had any retirements in the last 5 races. What do you think that says about the reliability of their car?
I think they can be fairly pleased with that record so far. The first thing any good car needs is a solid, reliable base with which to build on, and they seem to have that this season.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Red lines up on pole position and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Leclerc, Carlos Sainz and Butler, Norris, Verstappen, Grosjean and Alexander Albon, Magnussen, Ricciardo, Pierre Gasly and Giovinazzi. Vettel, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Perez, Lucas Faber and George Russell. Kubica and Daniel Kvyat completes the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
After the podium last race, people are expecting a lot from you this weekend, but it's going to be tough from here. Start was okay, now stay alert, threats around you. This is your final lap of the race. Brilliant. Nice move. Green flag. Fantastic. You've won the Grand Prix.
And an incredible win for Racing Point. A brilliant performance. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
Racing Point's performance today has shown that they can be competitive with the veterans of the sport. They're making their way out to the podium now as we speak, and the reaction from the crowd must be incredibly uplifting for them. And now let's take a look at the drivers' standings. Red takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship. Let's focus on the driver of the day. Anthony Davidson, who do you pick?
Well, it's got to be Kevin Magnussen. He displayed exceptional skill out on the track today and wasn't afraid to fight his way through the pack.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Our championship leaders retain their position, but their lead is shrinking. Meanwhile, good work from Racing Point this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Great work this weekend. It was fantastic to see you up on that podium. Let's consider the benefits of moving to another team. All right, the terms have been agreed. All that's left is to sign the paperwork. You'll be on this new deal from the next race weekend.
If it were me, this is probably what I'd invest in.